Welcome to week 28 of Scott's Weekly Sports Today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with my mom and dad this week. It's usually just one of them, but this week I'm bringing in both. So without further ado, let's get right into today's picks. So the first game out, finally we get some NFL games on Saturday this week as the Bears head into Ford Field to take on the Detroit Lions. This is going to be a very good game to watch. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Bears pull off this upset, but I'm going to take the home Lions in a close game. The reason why I think the Bears could have a shot here is because they're one-trick pony on offense in Detroit, but I'm still going to take Matthew Stafford and the Lions.
I'm going to agree. I think the Lions will win at home in a close one, but in the end I think since they're playing at home in Ford Field and they have the cushion of the dome and they don't have to deal with the elements, Lions get the win.
Let's be honest, we're talking about two bad teams here, but the Lions are less bad. Good English there. Than the Bears. I'm going to take the Lions at home to get a close win.
Next up, one of the bigger games of the weekend as the Los Angeles Chargers heading to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Kareem Hunt finally found the end zone last week. Finally. After like 7 weeks of waiting, he finally found the end zone once again. But I think the Chargers are going to win this game. I think Phillip Rivers, Keenan Allen, and this team will find a way to get the win on set tonight in Kansas City. Give me the road Chargers.
I'm going to disagree. I have down that the home Chiefs are going to win. They're playing at Arrowhead. Even though weather is not projected, I'm still going to go with the offensive power of Alex Smith and Kareem Hunt. So I'm going to go in a close one. I'm taking the Chiefs at home to win.
This is two teams going in opposite directions. You got the Chargers, who are the hot team. You've got the Chiefs, who are going in the other direction. I'm going to take the hot team and the Chargers to win on the road.
Next up at New Era Field in Buffalo, it'll be the Miami Dolphins heading in after a huge win last week against the New England Patriots as they head into Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. No snow in the forecast this week in Buffalo, but I think LaShawn McCoy and Tyrod Taylor are going to be the difference here. I'm going to take the home Bills.
I also am going to go with the home Bills for the win. The Dolphins looked crazy, unpredictable, and don't even ask me what happened Monday night against the Pats. But there's no way they can sustain that. They're a team that's just riddled with all kinds of problems internally and on the field. There won't be any snow. Scott said this week it won't be as aesthetically pleasing as it was last week to watch all the snow, but I'm going to go for the home Bills to take the win against the Dolphins.
And I think the Dolphins are going to, after a high last week of beating the Patriots, I think they're going to come down this week to earth, and I think the Bills will also get the win at home.
Unfortunately, because I actually want to see the Dolphins win this game to get to 500. So the Bucs can finally have a win over a 500 team this year.
Okay.
Next up, the Baltimore Ravens head in to First Energy Stadium to take on the Cleveland Browns.
The winless Browns.
Yep, final home game for the Browns, and I think that they're going to end the year winless at home. Their only chance of winning a game is next week in Chicago, but I'm going to take the road Ravens.
This is the Browns' home game. Everybody has to have a small place in their heart to hope that the Browns can at least get one win this season. However, the Browns are led by DeShone Kizer, who's not that experienced, and a team that doesn't have any wins, versus the experience of Joe Flacco and the unbelievable defense that the Ravens have. So even though it's a home game for the Browns, and even though sentimentally I'm sure everyone wants to see the Browns get a victory, I'm going to have to go with the road Ravens to get the win over the winless Browns.
I agree. I think the Ravens are playing for the playoff spot. They've got something to play for. The Browns at this point are just playing for pride. I think the Ravens get the win on the road.
Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals coming off I believe they won last week against something, I don't remember who they played, but they will be heading in to US Bank Stadium to take on the Minnesota Vikings coming off a loss last week in Carolina. I think the Vikings are going to bounce back here. Case Keenum's been doing very well. Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph. This is a team that I could see making the Super Bowl now that the Eagles have not been the team that we thought they would. So I'm going to take the home Vikings.
I'm also going to take the home Vikings, but for different reasons, and I think it's going to be a really close game. I think the experience of Andy Dalton is going to be wonderful. I think that the Vikings have Case Keenum, right?
Yes.
And he doesn't really have that much experience, and as we're heading into the outlook on maybe what's going to be the playoffs, hopefully the Vikings will pull it off. I have the Vikings winning, but only because they're playing at home in the comfort of the dome, and I think it'll be close, but I think the Vikings will win.
I think the Vikings are one of the top 2 teams in the NFC. I think they've got a great defense. I think last week was an aberration. I think they will win by at least 10 points against the Bengals at home.
Next up, the 5-8 New York Jets head into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome to take on Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Fantasy football owners, your running back for New Orleans, Alvin Kamara, will be back this week after a concussion last week on Thursday. So I think that's going to be a reason I'm going to take the home Saints. This game's not even going to be close. I am the closest the Jets are going to get is when it kicks off at 0-0, so I'm going to take the home Saints.
I also am going to take the home Saints. It's been a strange season for the Jets. Basically, all they have is their quarterback McCown and the running back of Forte. But I think the experience of Drew Brees and the fact that they have so many young, really good players, I'm going with the Saints for the win.
I'm not going to talk in staccato, so I'm going to try to talk in normal conversation. But I think New Orleans obviously is one of the best home teams. They're obviously playing for potentially first seed in the NFC. The Jets really have nothing to play for, and New Orleans is just a better team. They're going to win by at least 10 points.
Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles with new quarterback Nick Foles head into first MetLife Stadium to take on Eli Manning and his 2-11 Giants. Nick Foles is going to struggle, but I think that the Eagles defense is going to come through. I think that this defense is going to turn Eli Manning over a couple times in this game. I'm going to take the road Eagles.
I have down that it's going to be a super close game. Unfortunately, the Eagles lost their quarterback this year and this last week, and they have Nick Foles. Nick Foles is experienced, but he's inconsistent. Usually his first couple games are good, and then he kind of falters off. So since this will only be his second game, well, 1.5 games starting, it's going to be close. The Giants are kind of a mess, although they did bring Eli back. So the fact that they're playing at MetLife Stadium, it's going to be close. I'm going to pick the Eagles to win, but really close, maybe a field goal.
So you're saying it's going to be close?
It's going to be close.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's going to be that close, actually. I think the Eagles are a far better team. They've got more to play for than the Giants. The Giants' season's essentially over. I think the Eagles will win this pretty handily.
Next up, the Arizona Cardinals heading into FedEx Field to take on the Washington Redskins. This is a tough pick for me. These are the 2 teams that are absolutely falling apart. I had Arizona actually in the playoffs this year in my preseason predictions.
You did?
I actually did because I thought that defense was going to do enough this year. I guess Carson Palmer just cannot stay healthy, and David Johnson, that was a tough one. I'm going to take the road Cardinals. I think that defense is going to do too much in this game. I think Cousins is going to get pressure. I think they're going to put some pressure on Kirk Cousins to throw some interceptions, and I think the Cardinals defense is going to win the game for them. I'm going to take the Cardinals over the Redskins.
I actually have the Redskins over the Cardinals because they're the home team, and the Cardinals are used to playing in beautiful temperatures and under the security of their dome. I'm going to agree with all the points that Scott made. It's been a strange season for both of the teams. However, I think the fact that they're playing at home and we're getting toward the end of the season, I'm going to go with the home team Redskins.
I agree with Lisa on this one. I think the Redskins are going to win. I think Kirk Cousins is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. I think he has a makeshift offensive line, but I do believe that he'll be able to avoid the pressure and score enough points to beat the Cardinals.
Okay. Next up, the Green Bay Packers, and Aaron Rodgers is back this week, and he heads into Bank of America Stadium to take on Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Must-win game for Green Bay all the way through for the next 3 weeks if they want to get into the playoffs. They also need some help, but I think the first thing they got to do is win this game. And I think Aaron Rodgers and company will get it done. Aaron Rodgers is back, and I think he will throw for at least 3 touchdowns. Give me the road pack.
I'm also going to go with the Packers for the win. I think if Rodgers comes back, it's going to energize the team, both the offensive line to protect him, and it's going to motivate the defense to try to get the win for a quarterback who might be a little shaky, might be a little rusty, might be a little stiff. I don't really like the Panthers. I think they have a good squad, but I'm not really a fan of Cam Newton. He's super inconsistent and kind of has trouble staying inside himself. So I'm going to go also with the Packers for the win.
As much as I want the Packers to win, and this is the second biggest game of the weekend besides the Steelers and the Patriots, I think as much as Green Bay is going to want to win this game, obviously with Aaron Rodgers coming back, they're going to put a lot of pressure on themselves. Carolina is a very good home team. I think Carolina, unfortunately, is going to win this game.
Next up, the Houston Texans with good old TJ Yates back in company this week as he starts this week. And they head into Everbank Field to take on Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Blake's been looking better and better the last 2 weeks. He's done much better with not throwing the ball over and throwing a lot of touchdowns. So I think the Jaguars and that red-hot Jags defense is going to get it done. Calais Campbell's going to get maybe 3 sacks in this game. Leads the league in sacks. I'm going to take the home Jags.
I also am going to take the home Jags. I think they're on a roll. I think it's fortuitous of them that they get to play at home again this week after a really exciting game last week at home. The temp at game kickoff is 73 degrees outside. I think the team has a lot of momentum. I think they're starting to sort of buy into the hype that they might be a team that can go all the way. So I'm going to go for the home Jags for the win. Yay!
I think the Jags have the best defense in the NFL. I think that's going to carry them to victory against a hapless Titans team.
Next up, the Los Angeles
team, actually.
Next up, the Los Angeles Rams heading to Century Link Field and the 12th man to take on Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. In my opinion, this game will decide which one of these two win the division and the other one getting the wild card. I'm going to take the home Seahawks. I think Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin and this offense is going to be just too much in this game. I'm going to take the home Seahawks.
Last week, was it the Rams that played the Eagles?
Correct.
Okay. I think the Rams are going to take the victory here. I think the Seahawks are starting to look a little shaky. That game last week against Jacksonville was crazy good. Even though the Seahawks are at home and everybody talks about the 12th man, blah, blah, I'm going to go with the Red Hot Rams for the win. The upset win.
Wow, that's exciting.
It is exciting.
So, I'm going to go with Scott here on this and go with the Seahawks. I think they're obviously a very, very good team at home. I think Russell Wilson is a magician in his ability to avoid pressure. The Rams are a great story. I'd like to see the Rams win, but unfortunately, I think the Seahawks will get the win this week.
Yep. Next up, the game of the week has Tom Brady and the New England Patriots heading to Heinz Field to take on Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to take the road Patriots. I think Tom Brady struggled last week. I don't think he's going to have another terrible week this week. I think New England is going to win a very close game and get home field for the playoffs and make sure that the Steelers have to go through Gillette Stadium to get to the Super Bowl. I'm going to take the road Patriots.
Is this the game of the week?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to go for the home Steelers. For one reason and one reason only, I will always pick against the Patriots.
That's interesting because in this very video, you picked the Patriots in the past.
No, not last week when they played the Dolphins.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah.
I will never
Yeah, yeah.
pick the Patriots.
Anyways,
Next.
I think this is going to be a great game. I can see this going either way. But normally in big games, Tom Brady plays very well. The Patriots are 4-0 in the last 4 games against the Steelers. So I think I'm going to take the Patriots on the road to beat the Steelers.
Next up, the Tennessee Titans heading into Levi Stadium to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy G is on fire. He is undefeated as a starting quarterback. And I hope that he stays that way this week. I think the Niners are going to get the win here. Just to move the Bucs up a little bit higher in the draft, I'm going to take Jimmy G and his 49ers to get a home win over the Titans.
I'm sure this is just a game for all you fantasy players, just to sort of pick players to get points, because it seems like it's a really boring game. Both teams aren't really that good, although I guess the Titans aren't that bad.
9-4.
Even though they're playing at home, and like I said, neither team's that exciting, just for the fact that they're at home, I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Except the.
I didn't get the pick. That hurts, man.
Never mind.
All right. So I think I agree. I think the 49ers are going to win this game at home. The Titans are the worst 9-4 team in the history of the league. I think the 49ers get this win.
They're actually 8-5 now.
Worst 8-5 in the history of the league.
Next up, the Dallas Cowboys coming in at 7-6, heading into Oakland to take on the Oakland Raiders. Big must win for the Cowboys. If they want to get their big man Zeke back next week, they need to win this game. And I think that Dak Prescott looked very good last week against, I believe they played the Redskins last week. And I'm going to take the road Cowboys.
I'm going to pick the home Raiders. I think at this point in the season, we have two teams that are pretty equally matched. I'm going to always swing toward the home team. I'm not a big fan of the Cowboys with all the controversy of Zeke and all that business going on. I like the Raiders. I like Derek Carr. I like him at home. I'm picking the Raiders.
Normally I would pick the Raiders at home, but the Raiders have not played well over the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think Dallas actually gets this win on the road.
And my bad, they actually put the Giants last week, not the Redskins. That was 2 weeks ago.
We forgive you.
Yeah. Next up, on Monday night, it will be the Atlanta Falcons heading in to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. This is just a game for pride for the Bucs. As much as I would love to see us win this game and kick the Atlanta Falcons right out of the playoffs, I do not think it's going to happen. I think Matty Ice is going to do exactly what he did a couple weeks ago and just throw the ball to Julio Jones, let him catch like 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. And I think that the Falcons are going to get a close road win against my Bucs.
I'm always going to be a home team girl for the Bucs. Let's not forget, it's a Monday night game, which was originally billed, I'm sure, to be something exciting.
I thought this game was going to be for the division, honestly.
But the Bucs season hasn't really panned out the way they thought it would. Monday night, John Gruden goes into the Ring of Honor at halftime. So I know all of us Bucs fans are hoping that maybe Gruden will come back as the head coach.
He will.
And we'll say bye-bye to Dirk Cutter and this season that's really been a disappointment for all you Bucs fans out there. So hopefully we can stay on track. Hopefully we can get a win against the Falcons. It's probably not likely, but we're going to hope. I'm picking the home Bucs for the win.
Unfortunately, the Bucs are a dumpster fire this year, and the Falcons are defending NFC champions. I think, as much as I love the Bucs,
Yes, and
it's
pick the Bucs.
painful to root for the Bucs this year. I'm going to pick the Atlanta Falcons for the win.
Boo.
And that will do it for this episode of Scott Street Sports Today, ladies and gentlemen. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a nice comment down below and subscribe if you are new. And tell all your friends about these videos, and I will see you guys right back here next week for another episode of Scott Street Sports. I'll see you guys next week. See you later, guys.
See ya. Good luck in your fantasy pool.